Donald Trump did well, you can't really call it a town hall with Sean Hannity because on the first night of it, he didn't take any questions from the audience. They pushed that to the second night. So the first night, it was really just a mini rally with Donald Trump and his biggest fan and best friend, Sean Hannity. And during that segment, Hannity aired a clip of Kamala Harris from the 2019 Democratic primary where Harris said that she would ban fracking on day one. Now, he aired that clip for Donald Trump to respond to, even though, as recently as last week, Harris said during her CNN interview that she's changed her position on that and no longer supports that. So, you're playing a clip that's 5 years old that is completely contradictory to what Harris is saying and has been saying this year. But hey, it's Fox News. We wouldn't expect anything less, right? So anyway, after Donald Trump sees this clip of Harris, a 5-year-old clip that says, I'll ban fracking on day one, the guy who says he would be dictator on day one, responded by telling voters they now have no choice but to vote for him. Even if they hate him, you now still have to vote for him. Here's what he said. She will do that. There's no chance she's going to allow it. The election will take place. If she won, you're not going to have any fracking in Pennsylvania. You have 500,000 jobs. Think of that. It's your biggest business, and you get a big majority of your income from fracking, and you have somebody that's not going to allow fracking? She's not going to allow it. You can't take the chance. You have no choice. You've got to vote for me. You've got to vote for me. Even if you don't like me, you can sit here. You know what? Before I continue, I hope everybody picked up on what just happened. For the last 6 sentences, every sentence repeated the one before it. Let me read you that again before I continue. She's not going to allow fracking. She's not going to allow it. You can't take the chance. You have no choice. You got to vote for me. You got to vote for me. Even if you don't like me. Even if you don't like me, you can sit there and say, I can't stand that guy, but there's no way I'm going to vote for her. Nope, you have to have fracking. You know, you're the biggest in the country for this. You have 2 of the biggest sites in the world. It's a massive business for Pennsylvania, and you can't take a chance. She will not allow fracking, and she's got a lot of other problems too. So, aside from the constant repetition, because this man clearly cannot get his thoughts in order, he's lying his face off. Like, I already addressed the fact that he is lying about what she says about fracking. Personally, I'm all for banning fracking immediately, starting right this second. Fracked gas over its lifetime is dirtier than burning coal. It is a bigger environmental disaster than burning coal. So yes, fracking is devastating to the economy and, of course, to the areas where the fracking takes place, because we don't even know what chemicals they are pumping into the ground thanks to that old Halliburton rule where they don't have to disclose these toxic chemicals with known carcinogens that they're blasting down there right next to our aquifers where we get our drinking water. But having said that, let's address his other claims, right? Fracking's the biggest industry in Pennsylvania. Well, I did a lot of homework for this segment, folks. I did that for you. But anyway, I did it so I could call him out on his bullcrap. First of all, fracking is not the biggest industry in Pennsylvania. It's not even the second, or third, or fourth, or fifth, or sixth. It's in the top 10, but only because it's included with oil exploitation as well. Oil and gas is considered one industry. Fracking is actually a tiny, tiny piece of that. So if it were just fracking by itself, it would not even be considered in the list of top industries. The top industries, of course, are manufacturing, food processing and manufacturing, corporate headquarters, life sciences and medical technology, distribution and logistics, plastics, chemicals, robotics, aerospace defense. Then you got oil and gas. So yeah, not exactly the big grand employer that Donald Trump says, but he says, right, they still have 500,000 fracking jobs in Pennsylvania. That's a lot of jobs. And it is a lot of jobs. But it's also totally fake. You know, in September of 2020, so 4 years ago, Donald Trump made the claim while campaigning in Pennsylvania, you got 954,000 fracking jobs in this state, and they're all going to be gone if Biden wins the election. 954,000 was the number. And at the time, the fact checkers had to point out that, well, that number's a little inflated. And by a little inflated, they mean it was inflated by 3,500%. And of course, now he says there's only 500,000. 4 years ago, there was close to 1 million. Today, there's only 500,000. Even back in 2020, and this number has remained relatively unchanged over the last 4 years, there were 26,000 jobs in the oil and gas industry. Because again, they're all counted together. So there are fewer than 26,000 fracking jobs in the state of Pennsylvania. So yeah, once again, you're overestimating the number of fracking jobs in the state by thousands of %. And of course, Sean Hannity, too much of a dumbass to know any better, didn't fact check him, didn't call him out, didn't say, hey, wait a minute, bud, let's look that up real quick. Nope, nothing. Just let him spread his lies on your propaganda network as he tells people, you've got no choice now. You have to vote for me. You have to vote for me. You have to vote for me, because he said it 3 times. Even if you don't like me, he says, you have to vote for me. Now, what I love about this is that, again, because he said the same thing in 2020, and now, almost 4 years to the day, he is saying the same thing again. The people that work in the fracking industry in Pennsylvania, what should happen is that the Democrats should play the clip of Trump from 2020, which, by the way, not hard to find. I found it. So play the clip from 2020, play the clip from 2024, and then ask people like, he predicted your jobs would go away 4 years ago. He's predicting they're going to go away now. Did it ever happen? You now have history of showing whether or not it did or did not happen. Do you trust this man? Do you believe this man? He told you your job wouldn't exist, but clearly your job still exists. So he is lying to you. So maybe don't vote for the guy that thinks so little of you that he just lies to your face about whether or not your job's going to exist. He also, by the way, continues to falsely claim that you have hundreds of thousands of coworkers that also do not exist. It was not hard, by the way, for me to find these numbers. Doing this fact check was very easy. It does not require a special set of skills. But Fox News didn't do it. Producers didn't do it. I haven't seen any other fact checks on this since it came out. So maybe everybody else needs to also start doing a little bit of homework to start calling out these ridiculous lies, because Donald Trump is fundamentally incapable of telling the truth. And it's really, I promise you, as someone who does it, not that hard to find out what's really happening and accurately report it to the American public. Hi, everyone. This here is little Athena. And Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet. So please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.